In examination of point of view, construct a tuning machine for a power n, b power n, where n greater than 1. For this, we need to write the language first, which means if we place this n as 2, we get the string as AA and BB. If we can take this n as 3, we get the string. We can get infinite number of these strings based on this n value. Let us consider this as an input tape string. For this, we need to construct a tuning machine. For this, we replace A with X and B with Y. This string is accepted for the equal number of A's followed by the equal number of B's, which means if we can read this A, then we can put this as X and we can search for the B, first B value, then make this B as Y. Then we can search for the another A value and make this X, and we can make the corresponding B value as Y for the second A, and we can make the third A as X and corresponding B value should be Y. In this string is accepted. Let us construct a tuning machine. Let us take an example string, for example blank. This is the input tape. First, we read the input as A. For this, Q0 is the initial state. If we read A, then we can make this as X and move the position to the rightwards. Then, if we read A as input, then make A as X and we can move which direction? Right direction. And the state will changes from Q0 to Q1. After we search for the B, for the first A, we can search for the first B. Then we ignore this yes. That means if the A will arrive, then the A will remains as A and the direction moves towards the right. The pointer moves to this and this. Now the pointer, the read write header at this. Next, it will ignore A and make this A as A and move right. Later, it reads input symbol as B. We make this B as Y. Input symbol B and we make this B as Y and we can backwards, the direction will change to the left. That means for the A, first A, corresponding first B value made as Y and the direction change towards the left and the state will changes to Q2. After this Q2, the direction is left. Until we get this X value, we ignore this A values. Then simply A as and we can move to left direction. Then the pointer moves towards the left by ignoring these two A's and it reaches the X. Whenever it reaches X, then simply this X as same input as X and the pointer direction will change left to right. This direction will change to left to right and this state comes to Q0. By this pointer from X to right means we get A and this A we can make as X. We can make A input A as X and we can move to direction right side. Then we can ignore A and we can search for the second A corresponding to the second B. The pointer moves in the remains in Q1 state and it will ignore Y also. Then Y as Y and goes to the direction L for the same state in Q1. By this, it ignores Y and moves to the state B. Whenever it Q1 reaches B, then we can make this B as Y and it can changes its direction towards to left. If we move back to the left, then if we ignore Y, then for this self loop, Y as Y and goes to the direction left. For this, pointer moves to Y and ignore Y and pointer moves to A and we ignore A, the state remains same. Whenever we reaches X, this X remains as X and the direction will changes to right. By this, it will in the Q naught state. When we are in Q naught state, we reaches A, then we make this A as X and this moves to Q1 state and Y remains as same and Y it ignores Y until it reaches the corresponding third B value, which means the equal number of A's and the equal number of B's are should be the number of A's should be make as X, the number of B should be make as Y. If it reach and we ignore Y and it reach final third B value, then this B value make and it will make as Y and the direction changes towards the left. Then simply it ignores Y as Y and simply it ignores Y and the pointer changes towards the left direction. Similarly, this is also Y. Then it ignores and remains in the same state Q2 and it moves to the state. Whenever it reaches X, then the state changes to Q naught. When Q naught, then the direction is changes to R. Whenever it reaches X, then the direction changes to right. From the Q naught, we get only A input. From the Q naught, from the X, thereafter it Y's. For this, we can draw another state. This Y, we can don't change this Y value. This Y value remains. Then Y changes as Y and its direction moves towards to right. Sorry. This new state is Q3. Then simply this pointer moves the right. Then we can ignore this Y's. Then we can put this self loop and this input symbol Y remains as the Y and the direction moves towards the right. Simply we can ignore this Y and this Y. Then we can reach blank symbol. Then its state changes. Its state changes to Q4. This is the final state, which means equal number of A's are made into X and equal number of B's are made into Y. Then it reaches final state, means this blank remain as blank and moves rightward, which means Q4. In input tab, we have multiple number of blanks according to that. So for this, we can put another self loop. This blank can remain as blank and its direction moves towards the right. This is the tuning machine for A power n and B power 1. Let us quick revise about this. For this, the number of equal number of A's 1, 2, 3 followed by the equal number of B's 1, 2, 3. We first make this first A as X and we search for the first B and we can make this as Y. Then we search for the second A and make this as X and search for the second B and make this as Y. Then we search for the third A and make this as X and search for the third B and make this as Y. We can take this any length of the input string by the A power and B power followed by this condition. First, the Q naught is the initial state, which takes the input as A, the first string. Then it changes into X and the direction moves towards to the right. And the state Q naught changes to the Q1. Then it sets for the B value. Then simply it ignores A. So A remains as A and the direction moves towards the right. Until this pointer moves towards the right, it get first B value. After it get first B value, we can change this B value as Y and the direction will reverse. Then this direction will reverse to the towards the left. By towards the left, it does the A remains as A at the ray remains as A and the direction towards the left until we get the X. If we get the X, this X value remains as X, but the direction will changes. This direction will changes towards the right and its state Q2 changes from Q0. From Q0, what is the next towards the X? The next towards the X is A value. Then we can make this A as X and direction is right. Now the pointer shifted from this to this cell. Now we can ignore this A as A and move to the right until we found the second B. For this, we can also ignore this Y value. Then simply make this Y as Y and moves to the right. Then we find the second B value. B can be changed into Y and the direction reverse towards the left. We can ignore this Y as Y and A as A until we get the X value. We get the second X value. Then the state moves from Q2 to Q0. Then we reaches to the third A. This A will convert it into X and it will state changes from Q0 to Q1. Then the Y simply ignore as Y and moves to right and another Y will also moves towards the right until we get the third B. This third B is changes to the Y and the direction move towards to the left. We can ignore Y and A values. This move towards to the left. Then the pointer comes here and self loop. The state remains constant until we get the X. We get X and the X will be X and the direction will change to right side. After this state Q2 comes to Q0. In Q0 there is no way for the Y. Then we simply give a new state. When we get Y, this Y remains Y and the direction changes towards to the right. Then simply this pointer comes here and simply it Y makes Y as Y and moves towards the right until we reaches the blank. If we reaches the blank, then this is the final state Q4. It will represent with two circles. In infinite number of tape, there are infinite number of the blank symbols. For this, we made this self loop. Self loop blank makes as blank and the direction move towards to the right. By using this diagram, we can make the idea of the tuning mission, which means this is the translation function. What is the input? Input is the A. What is the state? Sorry, what is the state? Q0 is the current state and what is the input? A. Which is equal to what is the next state when we apply A as input to the Q0? It moves to Q1 and it makes A as X and the direction towards to the right. In similar way, we can write every transition function to the every inputs. We can write this every state Q0 comma A gives to Q1 comma X comma R. In similar way, Q1 comma Y which gives to same Q1 comma Y comma R. We can write this similar way functions.